You are listening to the Yappington Central Podcast. All aboard! You are listening to the Yappington Central Podcast. All aboard! You are listening to the Yappington Central Podcast. All aboard! You are listening to the Yappington Central Podcast. All aboard! You are listening to the Yappington Central Podcast. All aboard! You are listening to the Yappington Central Podcast. All aboard! You are listening to the Yappington Central Podcast. All aboard! You are listening to the Yappington Central Podcast. All aboard!
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Yappington Central Podcast. Yes, it has been a long-standing way. It's been in the way. We've had a lot of stuff going on, and I'm sorry that we haven't done a podcast episode in a while. But hey, here we are. Today I am joined by Redline Overload.
I don't really know what to say. Steam locomotives are cool. Yeah.
Very insightful. I am also joined by Railroad Dude 7470. Jaden, also known as Unrealistic Pacific Foamer.
A second train has hit Union Station.
And finally,
It's crazy.
Frantic.
Jerry, let me if you say it in the general chat, I will find you, and I will make sure you never post anything on the internet again. This has been a PSA.
What was that? Are you trying to destroy our eardrums?
It's what he called a PSA. That's simple. He already told you.
This is quite a PSA, I must say.
That his microphone was turned up so much that I honestly, all I heard was bass. I did not hear. I probably understood only about half of what he said. That was hilarious.
I hope you know I'm going to clip that, and I'm going to post that as a short.
All I heard
Also,
was
just so y'all know, my microphone was only turned up to 50% gain. It goes higher.
Do not. I repeat, do not.
Next stream, do it.
No, this isn't like horse racing. We're not betting on how high his microphone can go.
I will give you
And
one.
just like that, any and all coordinates have gone straight out the window.
Dear God. Alright, boys, what should we talk about first?
Let's
talk Ohio.
Acquisitions, perhaps?
Oh God.
Should we start?
Oh no.
Jaden has been peeing his pants because he's so worried about what this is. Should we?
Ashton, instead of getting to the steak of the meal that is whatever Frantic has acquired, may I suggest the first topic? That is train games / train simulators / playing said train games and simulators with like a rail driver, or if you've seen it recently on YouTube, the SimHogger. I'll let someone else go first.
Okay, well, sure. Before we start, though, I do want to make one little announcement. Everyone who will be talking will be timed by 5 minutes or 10 minutes, depending on the topic. Times will be extended. This is a new rule after we had some very long rants. I am not particularly looking at someone, but their name does start with an F.
Mr. Yapper.
So help me, the 551 by Lionel is not properly modeled.
No. Cut the mic. Cut
And I will
his
prove
mic.
it in
Cut
this
his
essay,
mic.
which
I
is
said cut his
400
mic.
pages.
Cut this man's mic. Cut him
Cut his mic.
off. Cut the bit.
He knows too much. The CIA's after us. The Lionel corporate team.
Let's talk about Menard's Gauge trains.
No!
No.
Last time you did that, I had to sit here for almost 3 hours. I got lumbago from that.
Railroad E6 on the Strasbourg main line.
I swear. Alright, so... I gotta figure out, what do we start with again?
Train simulators, train games, and discussing things like Rail Driver and the new SimHogger simulator driver thing that the Western North Carolina Railroad YouTube channel did a full review of.
Okay.
East.
Before we continue with that, I just want to hear what's here. Has anyone at all here heard of that? Because I haven't. That is new. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Basically, the SimHogger is like a 3D printed diesel control stand, and it actually works with the diesels in Railroader. You can run diesels in Railroader with that control stand. It is almost an exact replica to a regular, actual diesel control stand.
Control stands were so popular in games, they made them in real life. We are growing as a society.
Specifically, that control stand that is in, specifically the SimHogger control stand is modeled after a mostly standard EMD control stand. So think, SD40, GP40, SD or GP38. Any EMD locomotive that has like the upright control stand, like on the left side of the engineer, that is excluding some more, modern EMD locomotives that have the desktop control stands and some older EMDs like F units.
All right. Well,
Nice.
let's start off with the topic. Who wants to go first? Well, let's say Fisher, because Fisher was the one who brought it up. Fisher brought it up, so let's start with him. All right, Fisher, you have the floor.
Okay, start the timer now. Okay.
It started.
Okay.
It's already started. Your time's running out.
You're running out of time, bud. Clock is ticking. Where's my $2?
Okay, well, now you guys are
You're on a
running
time crunch.
Hurry up.
Fuck you two. Anyways, yeah. So, I watched the review. I watched the review of the Western North Carolina Railroad, which the Western North Carolina Railroad, they're a big YouTube channel that does railroader things, and I haven't forayed into any kind of rail driver or like SimHogger thing. Now I do a fair amount of sim racing, so I eventually got a wheel and a pedals and shifting and stuff. And just to play a game, maybe one of like the NASCAR Heat games that's on, just play a racing game with the wheel. It gives that much more realism, because when you're actually like going through the gears and turning the steering wheel and everything, and I would just say that as far as the sim, especially with what the SimHogger is, with it being like an upright control stand where you actually move the throttle, move the reverser, the geodynamics, move the independent brake, the automatic, like it gives the feeling that you're an engineer, and that you're like, okay, I'm cresting this train at the top of the grade, I'm going to start bringing my throttle down, all the while I'm adding I'm going to start bringing my throttle down, start putting a little bit more automatic on the train, and I'm going to come out into my dynamics and kind of just modulate it that way. So I just think that the SimHogger is just going to add that much more realism and make it a much more realistic experience. And I should also say that, and then I guess this will be a question for everybody, is what has been your favorite, train game or simulator that you played? So I haven't played any games like a Railroader or Railroads Online or like a Derail Valley. Now I have played games like Train Sim World, but only because those are available on a Xbox One, and I've played a lot out of that, specifically the map on Sandbatch, and I find those games very fun. Now, are they completely accurate? No, but I think as far as like, just play factor, they're pretty good. So I have to ask, what has been y'all's favorite train game or simulator, and what do you like about them, and what is like your favorite aspect? Because like, if you look at a game like Railroader, it's like, okay, it's not really about driving trains. It's more about the logistics and the economy of what it comes to operating a railroad. A game like Railroads Online is about, okay, you have to build the railroad and then operate it. You have to build the railroad completely from scratch and, do it that way. And then, something like Train Sim from Dovetail or maybe Train Z is more about, okay, it's kind of like a sandbox type thing, where you can take a completely blank map, make your own map, run trains, do the things. So I don't know where my timer is at the current moment, but I'm just going to leave it as, Oh, okay. So, okay.
That was only 3 minutes?
Yeah, that felt
No.
like 20 years.
What?
Okay.
That felt like we've been here for decades.
Okay. So, anyways, whatever my time is at doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna move this on to the next person with the question of, again, what do you like? What is your favorite train game or sim, and what do you like about it? And what kind of train game do you prefer? Do you prefer something like Railroader, Railroads Online, or do you just prefer something like Train Z, where it's kind of like a sandbox and you just build your own map?
All right.
Train Z.
Real quick.
Wait, sorry.
Before we start, I just want to say that was 4 minutes, 20 seconds, 6 milliseconds.
I like to imagine we just sabotage the first minute.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Fisher, can we decrease yours to 3 minutes? I'm kidding.
How about we decrease it to 1 minute and 60 seconds?
We'll be fair.
Okay, give him 40
Hey, man,
seconds. That's
to
the
be fair, okay, hey,
Give
man,
Pro a moment to breathe.
okay, first off, when AJ said, "Hey, Fish, the floor is yours," and started the timer, I can speak for 30 seconds because Jimmy and Unrealistic Pacific Foamer were like, "Hey, blah 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 blah."
Oh yeah.
Like,
Speaking of which, Jimmy, I'm gonna throw a brick at your head.
You would be the first.
Well, that explains the brain damage. And Jaden, I hope you know I can hear everything in your background. I really hope that's just not you. I hope that's a fan. If that's you breathing,
That's a fan. I'm standing 3 feet away. I'm not even sitting at a table.
it's
Why?
probably hot in Florida right now.
Why are you saying
I
that?
Average
guess I'm
Florida
just gonna
person.
make it here.
all right. Well, who wants to start Who wants to continue with Fisher's question?
I guess I'll go.
Train Z.
All right, your timer starts now.
Based. I agree with Jaden, Train Z, because not only
Like,
is it, yeah, give me a minute to talk. I know I gave the I know I gave the treatment to Fish.
God
That doesn't
damn
mean
it.
I want the smoke. But so basically, the best way I can describe Train Z is you can create it yourself. You can create your own fictional railroads yourself. And that's personally what I like a lot about it. Aspen, I can hear you whispering. Shut up. The man is talking. Anyways. So like you can create your own fictional railroads, and not only that, you can like model like say 1940s Pennsylvania Railroad. Hell, I'm running a Pennsylvania Railroad M1 Mountain on Strasburg right now. But you guys can't see it right now. But yeah, you could just do the randomest stuff with Train Z, and it's perfect. You can create your own models if you're skilled enough. I know I certainly can't. God no, the autism's preventing me. But yeah, Train Z all the way, 100%. Best train game on the market, in my opinion.
Is that it? Just so I know.
Yes, that is it.
That was
I
a minute.
rest my case.
That was a minute and 43 seconds, 55 milliseconds.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That,
Why
a-
were you counting milliseconds?
listen, my iPad just does that.
Because
Okay, we have to be exact here. Anyways,
Bro needs to
Please
make
do not
sure
put this
that
pressure on
one
me.
goes over a minute.
you know, I am curious. Okay, so because Jaden already spoke, he gets to skip his turn.
God dang it!
Go to, you know, you're now in the go to jail spot in Monopoly. I'm kidding. Go ahead, buddy. All right, and let's have a lap here, and y'all ready?
Yeah.
Three,
Activate black
two-
man super speed.
Excuse me, what? Put them Crocs in
What?
sports mode and go.
Okay, Trains is honestly one of my favorite sims because everything is more freelance. Now, with stuff like Railroaders Online, it's basically like akin to like the railroad version of American Truck Simulator. It's mostly grounded into like the logistics. You have to grind for everything. For Trains, it's literally just okay, do whatever you want, run whatever you want, wherever you want it. That's basically just what I love about it. It's the whole freedom of everything, and you don't have to grind for it. There's not really like a money system in anything, except for freaking payware. But it's just like the amount of stuff you can do in it. It's just fun. Like you can literally like Jimmy was doing earlier. He just ran 6:14 at Strasbourg with 27:16. God have mercy on his soul. You really couldn't do that in, say, like, Railroader or Railroads Online. Because isn't there, like, basically a classification on, like, where you can run and what you can run?
I know in Railroader there's only like one map. Like it's just one map.
Unless you
You
mod
can't
it.
make a new one. If you mod it enough, you're going. If you somehow manage to create a new map in Railroader, let me know, bro. Because that is, from what I've heard,
See, here's a new
impossible.
point I want to point out. The ability to create maps is actually relatively accessible. That's partially the reason why Trains exists. Not to mention, like, the whole community part of it, there's an endless amount from where you can choose from. You can literally download a Strasbourg map made by some random guy in his attic somewhere in freaking Michigan. I'm looking at you.
I think that's the map I'm playing on right now because I'm missing like 29,000 trees.
Just FYI, unrealistic on just FYI, unrealistic Pacific Foamer. I do not live in an attic, nor do I have a computer capable of doing anything Train Z at the moment.
You have 50% of my sympathy. How long have we been going for?
What do you mean, your timer or the podcast itself?
The timer.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
still going. Do you want me to stop it?
How much do I got left?
3 minutes?
How much
2
time
minutes?
I was about to say how much. I was about to say how much time this bro got left on his sentence.
If you reach the full thing, I'm gonna play a video that's really funny. So.
Okay.
All right, come on, let's get
Back to the
come on.
community side of things. There's also like an endless amount of trains you can run thanks to like having the community part inside the game. I cannot speak today. There's quite a number of third-party sites making locomotives that are, like, let's say, iconic steam excursion stars, or just obscure diesel locomotives. There's literally endless possibilities, and if you have the right amount of talent, and you can just post that on the I cannot say anything. Why is my vocabulary just limited today?
Sir, can you speak English, please?
English.
Maybe Jaden is having a heat stroke moment.
I am, because I turned my fan off.
Turn it back on.
Oh, fine, I want the
But
fan.
you said that was breathing.
I want the
turn it
pixel reduction
back on.
fan.
If you're having trouble speaking.
Okay, Jaden, are
I
you done?
We spent probably a whole minute just doing that.
Are you done?
At this point, yeah, I cannot do this anymore.
You have 30 seconds left if you want to say one more thing.
Yabba dabba doo. I hope you swallow a razor blade too.
That's
Alright,
crazy.
I'm gonna play this video now.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
How's it get to monetize?
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Proceeds to watch the video get age restricted.
Oh,
God
don't
dang it,
remind
I
me.
told you guys.
Don't remind me.
I told you guys to watch Miss
Flash-
Rachel before we
Flashback to the
started.
first stream.
We'll never forget that. I did get both of those repealed, by the way.
Okay, good. Alright, I think it's
Alright, it's Frantic's turn.
oh boy.
Are we switching topics, or are we remaining with the current
Remaining with the
simulator topic? All right, so let's see. I have a small catalog of simulators and such I've been working on, and so far no one has covered Roblox games.
Oh.
Ooh.
So
Okay, let's go.
this is a topic that I really don't see explored very often. Realistically, Roblox is possibly one of the very best game engines on the market. Now, in terms of optimization, it is utter garbage. Maybe one of the worst platforms out there outright. It's a nightmare to deal with. It is horrible to work around. And it's constantly getting game-breaking updates. But for usability, it has to be the easiest. It's not very hard to build your own game. It's not very hard to really do much with it. There's loads of support, loads of tutorials, and quite literally millions of people that can possibly help you. So this lends itself to a very basic physics-based train sim. We don't see real physics-based train sims being the norm. They're not particularly prevalent. We see most of them having restrictive guides, such as a good example being Railroader. Railroader has guides that lock the trains to the track. No matter what, they will always stay on the track, whether they're just leaning over a little bit extra to represent derailment or they're actually on the track. If we look at a game like, let's say, Train Z, what we're going to see...
They don't.
Well, yeah, they don't exactly derail at all. And there's a couple that I can't remember the name of, that the trains go flying off the track in whichever direction, and they absolutely go everywhere. But the issue is they are not a... Do I? No, I don't remember the name, so go ahead and say it if you remember.
Yeah, they got rid of those physics when Trains in New Era. Trains 12 was when they used to do that.
Okay.
Up to Trains 12, yeah, you had those physics, and then when Trains in New Era came along, they just literally got rid of those, and yeah, now they just clip each other in the exact position derailed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's weird.
So
it's dumb.
the issue with those is they're not really physics based. The only dedicated train game that is truly kind of physics based is Railroads Online, and even then it's not really physics based because we don't use a physical collider for the whole chassis. We only make the colliders be the wheels. So if the train derails and rolls over, it's not going to deform terrain or damage itself or even act blocky and tumble. It's just going to kind of turn upside down and clip through terrain.
Can I throw something out there real quick? I'll even pause the timer.
Go right ahead.
Because this is something that's been on my mind. The game itself isn't exactly it's not exactly a train game, but modding trains in BeamNG.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Okay. I have a lot
That's
to
the
say
closest
on
thing
that
we
topic.
got.
All right, I'm intrigued now.
But I will say with Roblox, though, we have some amazing examples of really, really good railroads. We see stuff like the potential that, ACCR and PGRX and their amazing systems. I will say they have working high rails. They have literal working radios. Like, you get in the game and you set to a frequency and people can hear you remotely in the game. It is a literal radio. They have working crossings. They have working stuff, and it's all physics-based. They even have train crashes that are based off of colliders and cars literally exploding. The whole game is built around physics. And we get to see this with Roblox. It's something that you don't see anywhere else. It's a one-of-one thing.
Can I bring
another
up
example? High Iron. That's another amazing one. High Iron is pretty good. I would say comparing it to ACCR and PGRX, though it's not quite there, but it's pretty good. Now, a third one, this is the last one that I would like to mention, is the ET&W&C Railroad Company. It's currently getting remastered. So I believe the base game is still free drive. If you want to go out and see that, it's still free on Roblox. And that's the other thing. These games are free. People put hours and hours and hours and hours, literal years, into making these things amazing.
And yet they're still free.
Yeah, they're still free, and quite literally anyone can access them from anywhere in the world. And in some cases, a high-end iPhone or a high-end iPad is all you need to run it. A friend of mine uses his Oculus Quest system to visit the ET&W&C train. And since we added some buttons in testing a while back, he was able to drive the train from VR in the set. Now, I will say this, so far, that game is the only one that I know of that is both VR compatible and has trains. Trains in VR in first person, that virtually doesn't exist. So
except for
there's
SRI,
potential.
that's not even.
Yeah.
Real quick, just as a tidbit, if you want, we could add 2 minutes, because you're, if I stop the timer now, you will be at 6 minutes.
Ooh. Yeah. I've eaten into that time pretty well. I will say though, I've flown through all the time, and I've said pretty much everything I went out of my way to try and kind of mention and say. So, by all means, I do want to say a little bit about the BeamNG topic once that gets started, but fire away with Beam. And maybe continue on.
All right, real quick. And I continue on to what Frantic was talking about with the Roblox stuff, because I have a little bit of experience in that field.
Okay, you're getting a new timer. Start now.
All right. So, basically, earlier this year, I was hired to numerous different developing teams for different, like, games. Like, there's Edaville Railroad Legends, Orson Scenic Railroad Legends, the Warren Valley Railroad. I've been all over the place. Hell, there's a Conway Scenic Roblox game in the works that I'm helping with. And I agree with Frantic 100% because I've seen it firsthand. Blood, sweat, tears, and time goes into the making of each model, but so the difference between the games that Frantic was talking about and the games that I work on, the one Frantic was talking about are public. The ones I work on are operations based. That work like a normal, actual functioning railroad, kind of. There's a certain schedule, a certain time you're allowed to join the game, and then once that time is up, the game's locked. People can't join it. I am also currently working on my own Roblox game that's train related. It's very work in progress, but so basically I'm gonna try and reshape that operating sessions thing, kind of. I want people to be able to join and see the locomotives, but during like hours where trains aren't operating. Like, I want to put a barrier around the track so that way people don't mess with the models, but I also want people to look at them and enjoy them and get screenshots of them and stuff like that.
That's a very good system.
Yeah, but that's the thing I've seen that most operating session games on Roblox are lacking. Like, the games will be shut down and the barriers will only be at like passenger stations. That's the only place where the barriers would be. I want people to be able to drive cars, go around the place. I want people to drive cars, pace the train, rail fan the train. I want people to feel like they're actually chasing a real train, like they're at an actual railroad. They can see the locomotives sitting at places. They can see like the scenery or whatever. They could rail fan stuff. I want to try and spread that idea because a lot of operating session games are private to the public because of God knows what reason. But I want people to feel more included by having access to the game and being able to see all the hard work that the developers put into the game. And yeah, that's it.
Do you like fries with that, sir?
That gives me a thought.
May I add? This will be the last little bit that I will add onto this.
Okay.
AJ.
Better be.
Yes, I promise. I promise it won't
It's
be
crazy.
super long.
New timer.
So-
Now.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, yeah, the current topic of Roblox certainly very good. I'll say this. My favorite game. So when it comes to my favorite game to play in Roblox is a game that is set in Colorado and Utah in the 1940s, Rails of DG County. I have spent so many hours playing that game, running trains back and forth, and of recently, I have gotten into more of the dispatcher role when I do op sessions with myself and my friends. And I tend to enjoy being the dispatcher because it's fun to me to handle more of the logistics of, okay, this train needs to go from point A to point B, and there's also a train going from point B to point A. How do I make sure that they both get to their destination safely and they don't crash into each other? So that's a part that I enjoy. Railroad Do 7470 has been a part of those op sessions.
I have seen it
I have
firsthand,
once.
and I remember.
Yes.
I remember one of the reasons why you went to dispatching. Number one, I punted your locomotive into the Y.
You're.
Yes,
Hold on.
Off the main line.
There are quite a few stories that could be told of
Get off
the
the
op
main
session.
line. I have priority.
Hey, I'm a
priority
season pass
number
holder. I
one.
have the right
Get
of
off the
way.
line.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that's I would say when it comes to train games, I mean, operating the locomotive and running a train over the line is certainly fun, and there is a challenge. There's a certain challenge that I enjoy about running a train. But I've found out that also being the dispatcher is fun as well. Going, train XYZ, you're cleared westbound to this passing siding. You will go into the hole, which is railroad vernacular for going into the siding, at circa Point Springs, and train XYZ is going to pass you as it's an eastbound, stuff like that. And so when I do get a computer, but I don't have one currently at the moment, but when I do get a computer that can run Railroader, I have a good feeling that's probably what I'm going to do majority of the time, and also get to play with the CTC board because, come on, that's just too cool. But I think that's the part that I've come to enjoy now about train games, whether that be whether that be like the dispatcher role and just kind of handling the logistical parts of running a railroad. Another Roblox game that I really enjoy that I've done a lot with is a game called Row-Scale, and what it is it's a sandbox type game. Basically, the way that the trains are sized in the game almost kind of look like 7.5, almost. They look like 7.5-inch gauge trains. So the ones you can ride on. I would say the trains in the game are pretty proportionate to that size. And myself and the others, including Railroad 7470, have built just big railroads in Row-Scale, whether that be, like just doing anything, and so that's something I really enjoy. But I think majority of all, the thing that I enjoy with train games is being the dispatcher and handling the logistics of running a railroad, which is, like I said, when I do get a computer that can run a railroader, is probably what I'll do most likely. So, anyways, that's my piece.
All right, Ash.
Just kind of a side throw out when you mentioned the DG County thing. Also, that was 4 minutes. Just throwing that out there.
Oh my God.
So
Not that bad, right?
do you all remember the elusive nipple tickler?
Oh
God. No, I'm not going back to that.
AJ, no one, AJ.
What do you
If you
mean?
bring that up, we have to explain the context, and there's a very specific person who we need in this server, specifically in the call, to cover that.
This is a
Next
story
time.
for another
Who's the
day.
nipple?
Find out next time on
basically-
Dragon Ball Z.
All right. So basically, I'm gonna do a quick rundown. Basically, think of Bigfoot but worse. And he's constantly chasing your train across Utah and Colorado.
With the Roblox man
It's him.
face.
That's him.
That's him,
That's
officer, him in the blue shirt.
Like I
Him
said,
and the
there's a very
non-existent
specific
shirt.
person that we need in this. There's a very specific person we need in this. We need in this call to cover that.
Conductor?
But anyways. Oh, Rio Grande
not
historian.
conductor.
Oh, him. Alright.
The
So,
old guy, old Rio Grande boy.
so now,
They grow up so fast.
oh, you know what? Fine, I'm gonna play this video anyways.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
No,
So,
you did set the timer.
What?
so, now it's my turn. About railroad
Based.
simulators. I have a very controversial opinion.
Oh boy.
You know what I think is actually definitively the best railroad simulator?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Rolling Line. Now, I know you all probably do not understand this, but
I respect it.
Here-
Oh, yes.
let me give. So, Rolling Line is primarily low poly, so it can run on most computers, which is a good thing, meaning it can reach more people and be more widely accessible. Another thing is, it's not the most realistic, but it doesn't need to be. Rolling Line kind of leads into that. You know how most railroads had that early Art Deco style, like the early 30s, the simplistic style. That's kind of what Rolling Line goes for sometimes. Another thing is, a lot of the map selection is different, to where you have a set amount of tracks instead of, like, you know how in trains you click one end, then you click the other, and then boom, your track's there. In Rolling Line, it's more actually building a model railroad. You have different curve radiuses, and of course you do have tracks that fill in gaps, but besides that, like, and the thing that I love about Rolling Line and what I think makes it the definitive best is the Steam Workshop. You don't need to search for missing dependencies. You can go into Steam and download anything, and the nicest thing is that customization is so easy. They have an entire system where all you have to do is copy the skin thing, edit it, and then put it back in, and then select it on the copy of the mod. It's so easy, and it's so nice. That's how I was able to get the whole Bessemer project rolling in the first place. And another thing is, the game itself, like, you can make it realistic. Like, people have made mods to make it look very realistic, and it is beautiful. It is so nice. I even saw this mod where you can change the skybox.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a mod where you can actually change the skybox.
That's crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, if I had to choose, like, Rolling Line is great, but I do have some gripes, some things I don't like about it. One, the track is a little bit goofy. Because sometimes you'll put track in and it won't snap together right because you have two other different tracks, and then your cars keep derailing when it goes over it. Or sometimes you put the wrong file in the wrong place, and then the whole thing just crashes. It's annoying. And another thing is, Rolling Line doesn't go into the physics either. There are like no physics in Rolling Line.
Based.
But another thing I want to throw out there is that it's VR compatible. You can drive trains in VR, you can play with trains in VR, and that's why I think it's good. Is it as realistic as Train Z? No, but it doesn't need to be. It's simplistic, it's good, and it can run on anything. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I will not release mosquitoes into the audience.
Thank you. So, AJ, as far as, like, okay, the realism factor, it's not that high, but as far as just play factor, actually playing the game, it's up there.
It is fun. I mean, again, like, someone from, like, across the world. Oh, another thing I want to throw out there, you don't have to pay a dime for anything. Most of everything on the workshop is free.
The only thing you have to pay for is
10,000.
Oh my god.
10,000 assets later.
I just saw Jerry the Tank Guy mention this, and this is kind of like a side conversation. I'll even put another timer up. Lionel Battle Trains. Who remembers it?
I do.
I
do. But I think the most iconic one was Lionel Traintown Deluxe. That's a Fander Bander.
I am sorry, but
Oh
all
my
I remember
God. I was going to get that for my 3DS before the eShop closed down. Of course I never got it.
I am uncultured.
Of course you are, Jimmy. You were born in Massachusetts.
No, it's just I was born in 2010. But
sorry, dude.
That's national.
The lead poisoning has gotten to him.
Fuck, I forget the name.
Oh god.
That's
What have you done?
That's discrimination. That's discrimination. You can't do that.
Hello, my name isn't discrimination. How are you doing?
That's statist. How dare you?
I'm everything this. Anyways,
Bro
that
discriminates
topic is over with.
everything.
I'm a poltergeist and I scare the shit out of people.
So, what is the next thing that we should talk about?
I don't know.
Rolling stock.
Frantic's acquisition.
Let's do.
Alright.
Okay, well, didn't Jaden mention rolling stock, and then Jaden, you now have the song stuck in my head. Now, congratulations.
Let's go!
Starlight Express will
Not
forever
aggressively
curse
touch
me.
the mic.
What?
Sir, can you not
Excuse me,
aggressively
sir. My
touch
name is
the
Mike.
mic?
My owner is trying to arrest me.
What, like this?
Hey! Dream, you can't say that.
Well, he just did.
I'm gonna
Oh,
say
wow.
a word.
How to get the monetize?
Guys, I got bad
Well.
news. I just got a letter from the
Where?
CIA. It says
What?
you need to stop what you're doing. This is highly illegal. Norfolk Southern will sue you.
Ah, crap.
Oh,
Well, guys, we don't wanna mess with Norfolk Southern, man. They send
I
it
know I don't
cease
have
and
much
desist now.
I don't have much time, but
Cease
Jimmy
and
lives at.
Oh, he dead.
His IP
Well,
address
yes,
is 1.9.
Well,
Anyways,
guess I'm in charge of the podcast now. Now, time to talk about New England Railroad.
if you mention New England one more time, I am going to kick you. Anyways,
What did I do?
nothing. Anyways, should we
We've gone so off track.
take
What?
the metaphorical tarp off the tractor here and talk about the elephant in the room? Not you, Jimbo.
Wait.
Sorry,
Oh,
dude.
no, I'm sorry. I pissed my pants again.
Frantic,
Pissed my pants again.
Frantic, do you want to get to it?
Starting on the acquisitions topic.
You know, I'm just gonna say this now. Jaden, those swimming shorts will really come in handy now.
Alright,
What?
so
What the hell?
I will start this out by giving a preface of how this came to exist. So, this started off with a friend of mine. He was doom scrolling through Facebook early in the morning one day and just kind of existing, you know? And he comes across a post, and it was from an old railroad and historical society that was sadly having to auction off a bunch of their stuff. So he sends me or rather sends our group a thing and says, it'd be hilarious if someone bought this. My initial reaction was, imagine, you know. And he goes, yeah, it'd be pretty cool and Ashton, go ahead and blow the photo up a little bit. It's kind of small on the screen here if you can.
Oh shoot. Oh,
Anyway,
wrong
he sends
photo.
the link. He's like, it'd be funny if I got it. Then he goes, it'd be even better, and go ahead and I want you to post the photo with a rear view mirror. So he then goes, you know,
Oh god.
it would be funny if I got this as a first car, but his dad wouldn't allow it. And he said it'd be even funnier if someone in our group would get it. At this point, my reaction was, you know what? I might just get that. Tell you what, give me link. No, I kind of want it now. Link, give link now was the exact quote, I believe. And so, for those of us who are here and in the call, go ahead and look at the stream, and you will see the photo.
Should I reveal it now?
I am so scared.
Yes, go ahead and reveal it.
Oh my
Watch. Ashton, will it be on your stream?
It will.
All right, go ahead and get that on the stream. Not the thing itself, but the rear view mirror picture.
Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Oh shoot!
You're all good. No worries.
I accidentally showed
You're
the
not
thing.
streaming anything currently, just so you know. There you go. That works. So, I bought a high rail.
Okay,
Oh
can I
my
show it now?
God.
What?
Dead serious. Look at
Hey.
the stream. I
Oh
bought a high
my
rail.
God!
Here's what it looks like.
Ain't no way!
Dead
Why
serious.
the hell do you have a high rail?
Well, a friend said you won't get it, so I did.
Someone said
So
you won't
here-
get it doesn't mean it is a requirement to get it.
Requirement.
We have a little bit of a joke. We say that friends advise you to make poor financial decisions. Really good
Clearly.
friends
My friends are
advise
poor.
you to make them very, very strongly.
I'm just saying, my
So-
friends are poor financial decisions.
I just
If
am.
y'all can see, go ahead and take a look at the stream if you can. Ashton, the live that you have going currently in the call, if you could show the stream.
I keep seeing a double. I keep seeing an O1 and a Confederate flag on the roof.
My goodness. Yeah, fair enough. It's a very similar orange. But I will say this. As many of you all know, I live East Coast. I live in Tennessee near Knoxville. And this truck was located in Belton, Missouri. Quite literally about a third of the way across the United States.
Oh, misery.
So here's the story of our retrieval of the Belton truck.
Oh boy.
So, quite literally was sitting poolside with friends, staring at the auction. I brought my computer thinking, quite possibly I could get this. I had the budget set out. I had logistics figured out, and I was ready to get it, So I'm staring at the auction. A friend named Sam comes over and he sees it and he goes, "You gonna try and get that?" I said, "I'd really like to." And he says, "Hey, you ought to call Rama." So I do. And he walks me through how to set up everything, and we outbid our opponents and managed to get this truck, an air compressor, a whole bunch of hydraulic spike removers, and about 900 pounds worth of railroad tools. Now, sadly, I do say this, sadly, the high rail was the last real railroad maintenance vehicle that they had, and all of the tools that we bought were the last tools that the railroad has. This railroad also owns the Southern Railway number 5 and Frisco number 1632. All those Bachmann Frisco decapods? That's the one that they modeled them after. And 1632 is in bad condition still. So is number 5. They are losing traction rapidly, so if anyone in that area is watching, do investigate that railroad. They need all the help they can get. Now back to our journey of retrieving this high rail. So we spent approximately 10 hours on the road driving to get said truck, dealing with all of the bad roads. It was beautiful weather. That's where the initial photo with the sunrise there is. That was when we were on our way. And, we hauled tail getting there. We got there in a hurry, straight through all 700 and some miles. So, After getting there, we sign into the hotel, spend the night, wake up at 5 a.m., get ready, and head over to the auction place. We attempted to get the truck running initially. Unsuccessfully, I might add. We figured out the fuel pump was dead. About that time, a fellow came over who had worked on the truck before and told us that the fuel pump was dead. That would have been helpful a little sooner, but we'll take what we can get there. So we used some sketchy methods since we didn't have any additional machinery to try and pull the truck up onto the trailer or push the truck up onto the trailer. We disconnected the trailer from the haul vehicle and put chains up to the frame of the high rail. And we drug it up onto the trailer. That was a very difficult undertaking, and that in and of itself took 2 hours to conduct. But we did manage to get the thing up there. And at this point, we were both severely dehydrated and just ready to get on the road. So we decided, you know what, let's tie it down here and head to get lunch. Finish tying it down once we're there. So we headed to the nearest Whataburger, which, please, Whataburger, come to the East Coast. You have the best hamburger, eat-out hamburger that I've ever had.
I mean, we have some in Florida.
Anyway, we get to the Whataburger and we spend an additional 2 hours trying to pull the truck forward and not damage the trailer. Now, as you can see from that photo, that is after we had everything tied down and proper. We had to pull the ramps off of the trailer, and we had to put them next to the truck by the front doors. You can see them sticking up there. We had to pull the truck all the way to the edge of the front deck where the front tires were resting on the lip edge, and we had the back tires about 2 inches from falling off of the back of the trailer. Our overhang was substantial, but at least we had chains going, you know. We had chains trying to keep it from rolling backwards off the trailer, and we had ratchet straps holding it from going off the front of the trailer, as well as some straps holding the front tires in place, because we knew we were up against some bad roads. We got on the road a little bit late in the day, and we covered the initial 300 miles. The initial 300 miles were actually the worst of the driving because the trailer was notably tail heavy, enough that we could not get over 55 miles an hour, which is not even a mile a minute. So that put us going very painfully slowly all the way to back into Knoxville. So let's see, it was what was it? First day or second day on the journey home, it was starting to get dark and we hit some misty rain, a whole lot of fog, a whole lot of mist. So Rama, my co-driver, came up with a great idea. Let's turn on the strobe lamp on top of it and put on the hazards. It'll help with our visibility. We're a hazard on the road. You know, the speed limit is 70 and it's getting near midnight. There are semis flying past us doing 100 easily on these roads. They're wide with high speed limits. And that saved our tail on multiple occasions. When we would pull over on the side of the road, people would see that orange scrolling light and immediately get over. And they responded much better to that than just normal emergency flashers. We did have a couple of moments. We hit a massive pothole. I mean, it was a shin-deep pothole. And I thought we had blown out both tires on the trailer. I genuinely thought we were going to be stuck on the side of the road. So we pulled over and we checked it, and we found that it had loosened some of the tie downs a little, so we tightened that up, checked the ramps, and we were back on the road. We continued on for probably the next 100 miles, and we hit another point where the trailer brakes just quit working. It was at this point that I had to get out, pull over, get out, and check the connection, and it turns out that it was not properly connected and kind of backed out some. Along the way, we had a few more electrical issues, things like the truck just randomly resetting, like factory resetting as it was driving down the highway, which was unnerving to say in the least. And overall, that was the main event of the whole thing. So we then decided to go ahead and stop for the night and get a cheap motel. We actually decided to get like a nicer hotel, and they overcharged. Breakfast was not as good, and it was stuck in the 70s. When we checked into the room, it was the definition of liminal. It was quite literally like, you know, every horror movie you've ever seen, it was that hotel room. So we spend the night there. We get up in the early morning and we're back on the road. We pretty much, it was smooth sailing, enjoyed a whole lot of music. I'm really thankful for that 20-hour, 25-hour playlist that Rama has. It was probably the only thing that kept me awake, as well as Joseph, who he helped us kind of stay sane. Now, it's also at this point that I would like to sincerely thank some people, because as we got back into Knoxville, we were right there. We came to the realization that the truck was so long it would be nigh impossible to get into Rama's driveway, which is long and straight, but it has obstacles on both sides, and it would be nigh impossible to get it in there with how tall it was on the trailer. I know that I could not take it to my house because my house is in a neighborhood with old neighbors that cannot stand to see anything that is not brand new. So it's like 7 years or newer, nothing else. And so a friend of ours, Nate, Dead South Nate, reached out to his friend, Alex Rowe, and Alex is allowing us to keep the truck at his shop while we maintenance it, get it back on the street. I'm currently awaiting the title, bill of sale, and a handful of other key documents to be shipped to me, as the document lady was not there at the auction house, which is pretty sad to see. But the cool thing is we have a high rail. So, Ashton, I'm going to forward to you, let's see, I'm going to forward to you the final photo. I would love to see that one put in there somewhere. And it was at this point, realistically, it did not set in.
I hope you know I just commented on your Facebook post about it. You might want to check it while I'm putting this in.
All right, thank you. But there is one last thing there. The realization genuinely hit that we had just driven 1,580 some miles round trip to pick up a 1978 crew cab long box C20 high rail, possibly the only one in existence. Purpose built, purpose driven, and never taken out of service.
What railroad did it come from?
Well, that's the interesting thing. It was not originally from a railroad. The truck was bought as just a typical C20, kind of a base model truck, and it was used on the Smoky Hill Railway when they were, getting their stock together and just generally getting things going, They needed a typical, or just a service truck. They needed something that they could take places, pick up stuff, and this was the perfect vehicle for it. And somewhere along in there, they realized that their need had changed, so they went out and bought a high rail set. They had those installed, and then a little later on, those were rough riding, so they got some with the rubber dampers on them, so they handle better, don't climb the track as much, and had the high rail refitted and a new bed put on the truck. The new bed had those work boxes on the driver's side, as well as cutting torch bottle racks built into the bed. and pretty much the perfect place. There's a fuel tank outside of the frame rail. Yes, that is somewhat dangerous if you're T-boned, but in a service truck application, that's not really a concern. So it has a big fuel tank down the driver's side, and on the opposite, on the passenger side, we are going to install some compressed air tanks on it so that we can run a bell, air bell, air horn, stuff generally like that. It'll also allow us to charge up. That would be cool.
Put a K5LA on it, please.
We're thinking more like an M5. M5s have a little bit more of a mellow tone, and I think it fits the overall feel of the truck. Now, I'm currently looking through my photos as well, but this is what I've got. What you see there in that photo in the stream is myself pictured on the left side in the blue shirt, and on the right with the fire extinguisher in hand is Rama, my co-driver. We had been awake effectively for about 20 hours at this point in time, as there was very little rest to be had previously. We were drenched because it had started raining, and that, mind you, did not help anything. And we had just taken that truck off of the trailer by taking its 30 years resting self, throwing a new fuel pump on it, using a pair of vice grips and jumper cables, and managed to get it running long enough to back it up into the shop. So there it sits, awaiting its restoration. I open the floor to any comments, commentary, or questions.
All right.
This motherfucker bought a high rail.
So, Frantic, what is the drivetrain in the truck?
It's two-wheel drive. Notably, it does not have the factory 14-bolt rear axle. Instead, it has the heavy haul axle, which came in the C40s, which are the oversized medium trucks. The front end is a modified C30 front end, so it can handle a lot more weight, as well as having heavier coil springs and bigger shocks. It does have a sway bar on the front and rear, which is really, really rare, even for a custom truck. No one does that. The wheels on it are dualies, you'll notice, because they're inset so much. They took steelies off of a dually truck and put front and rear on it. So the tires are a little narrower, but it makes them a lot taller. The brakes on this thing are massive. I estimated that just to do the front brakes, this is calipers, because it's eventually going to need new calipers, just one of them. They already replaced the other. But for pads, rotors, and one caliper will be close to $500. They are these monster calipers. They are about the size of 1.5 hand lengths. They're genuinely massive. And the rear drums are the gigantic 16-inch rear drums that are the extra wides. They came on the heavier haul trucks. So, and the rear drums are going to be a couple of $100 at least to do. So everything on this is way overkill and crazy heavy. The frame's been gusseted as best I can tell in certain areas to get it above the standard GVW. And so its empty static weight is 7,800 pounds as it stands.
Interesting.
May I also ask another question? What engine and transmission does the truck have?
It currently has a Chevrolet Red Block 350, so that's about the 250 horsepower variant of the 350 from the era. Mind you that at this point in time, since the truck is a dual C, it's a CC type VIN code, that indicates that it is emissions exempt. It does not have to have a smog pump, EGR, or any other older smog reduction, or even catalytic converters installed on it. So that's kind of nice. The transmission paired to it is the 3-speed plus low, which is really just a 4-speed with an extra low gear on it, granny gear. So if you were to look at it on the shift knob, it goes first gear is low, and then it goes first, second, third, and reverse all the way over to the right. Is a standard H pattern shifter. So the front, forward toward the dash and to the left is low. You bring it straight back into first, bring it into neutral, and shift up into second, and then straight back into third. And then you bring it into neutral again, all the way over to passenger side, and straight back, and clicks into reverse.
Cool.
Interesting. When I first saw this truck, my first inclination was like, that had to have like a 454 or something, but I guess I was wrong.
Well, that's the thing. These trucks did have 454s put in them. However, at this point in time, being 1978, there was a fuel crisis going on, and people were quite literally terrified to buy anything to do with high displacement. Now, my personal plan, I want to see if I can work with the 350. It's going to need completely gone through. It is not exactly, the truck is in great shape. It's reasonably low mileage. It may have rolled over and be 160,000 miles, but I personally still want to believe and refuse to say that it's rolled over. I say that it's got 62,000 original miles and insanely high engine hours because it's a service truck. It sits and idles for hours at a time. So that engine's weak. It's just kind of old and worn out. So we'll probably go through it. I want to do some hot rod stuff to it. Probably raise the compression a little bit, bring it up to the modern 87 octane Edelbrock or Holly carbs on top of it. We'll see about decking it, maybe putting new pistons, higher comp pistons on it, bigger valves in it. We'll see.
Put a supercharger on it.
That would be cool. I mean, the engine bay in this truck is big enough that both me and Rama would be able to fit in it and have room to spare. This thing is literally massive. Like
either that
huge.
Yeah, either that or just go for the gusto and just put a big old GM Duramax diesel in it.
That'd be funny as well. Put like a 6.2. That would have reliability issues, but it would be cool.
Just a big old GM 2-stroke twin turbo, or just a big GM twin turbo diesel engine.
Something that I think would be interesting. So I found this going through some files and documentation. If you had a small block truck way back when, and let's say the small block blew up, you could take it to a General Motors dealership and they would give you some options. You could get a direct replacement engine, which would go in and replace the power plant that you have. You could upgrade to a larger displacement engine, or you could downgrade to a smaller displacement engine. And using that workaround, as well as the fact that this truck is completely emissions exempt and does not have any emissions gear on it, you could theoretically get away with 454 swapping one of these, and it would still fit within the aesthetic and era. So I am looking at that. If I can come across either a green block or a red block 454, or a 4-bolt 454, I would love to have it. It would be really nice to throw in this truck. But for now, I'm just kind of going to roll with what I've got. So we'll see.
Just builds an era-specific 454, makes an absolute torque monster that can pull God and everyone.
Yeah.
I want to that high rail.
I have a question.
Yes.
It is a high rail for a reason. Will you restore it and run it on the main line?
The answer is yes.
I
That
said
is
yes!
our entire.
Yes!
Let's go!
Base moment. Base
Our
moment
purpose
right
is
there.
to do charters. So our plan, we saw this very poorly executed with 4501, fridge magnet railroading. So the original truck, this truck, had a Smoky Hill Railway sticker on it, which was put onto a magnet backer so it could be removed and used on other things or just taken off. Our plan is to print up magnets for quite literally any railroad that you could ever want to run it on.
I have an idea.
So let's say you want to have a photo charter and you want to have a high rail make an appearance with a service crew. We will have our generic high-vis equipment. We'll put on the, do a little bit of research and read into the, what those folks would have had for high-vis and safety gear and make an appearance for your railroad. We'll also make random appearances at certain railroad train chases, like just appear, stuff of that nature. So
I have an idea.
that's going to be with time, but I'm open to ideas.
It's one of your favorite railroads. I don't know if they had high railers, but Tennessee Central. Throwing that out there.
Tennessee Central is that's actually a possibility. The issue is TC only had 2 high rails. One of them was a Suburban. The other one was a Chevy sedan, I think it was, or a wagon of some sort from the 40s or 50s. I can't really tell which. Don't know its exact year. I don't even know if they're official high rails, because high rail is a brand, much like, weed eaters are actually string trimmers, and weed eater is just a brand name that name was really catchy. So
Okay.
high rail is a company, or a subdivision of a company, I should say. I actually do have a sticker high rail equipment. So if I scroll up here, yeah, it's made by Harsco, Harsco. They hold the patents to the name High Rail, Hi-Rail. Now my particular set is the, let's see, the HR 307As, which are manual deploy, which is kind of a sad thing. They don't have a hydraulic system to lower them, but they do work, and they are very much period correct for that truck. The high rail gear that's on it is what they would have used, is what a lot of equipment to this day still uses.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to let you all know we will be stopping at 1:40, so we have 10 minutes. It's been going on for an hour and 30.
Yep, for those of us
damn.
in the Eastern
That's
time
crazy.
zone, it is currently 11:30.
11:34 for me.
Yes.
But
So,
I am excited to see where this project goes, and I wish everyone involved in the project luck. I really hope you guys get this thing operational. Just saying, maybe bring it up to Pennsylvania sometime. I might want to see it.
yeah, but I do want to say this, for anyone who wants to follow our restoration journey, please go to Facebook and take a look at the Belton Truck Restoration Project. That is where we are going to be posting our updates. We thought about doing YouTube stuff, but that requires a ton more effort, and it takes away from short form availability. Facebook is really well set up, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that is the big reveal. Jaden, what is your opinion on this?
This guy is a madman.
And I
Please
love
bring
it.
it down to Florida.
We'll see. That's
Florida East Coast, brand new high
That's
rail.
another thing. We do want to visit certain things. Top of our list is Dirk Chandler's Steam Day event. So there is that. Another thing is Scott Ogle's U.S. Sugar. And if Scott will host, I've heard that he does motor car stuff, and if he hosts some motor car days, we'll probably go down there and act as support and maintenance for the little motor cars. Another thing, this is the final big thing, our most probable first appearance in like the public doing high rail things will be somewhere in North Carolina. So do with that information what you will. I know it's kind of vague, but that's because we're working with vague information here.
Let me DM Nick right quick.
I knew you were gonna say that. Wow. Why couldn't you choose Pennsylvania first? Anyways,
Well, it's a much longer drive.
I'll pay you $20.
That's surely it.
I'll pay you $20 to come down here first.
10 miles a gallon is rough.
Now, I have a question. So I have a question about this whole thing and, you know, going to certain railroad museums and tourist railroads. How will this truck be transported will this truck be driven physically from its home base to a railroad museum or tourist railroad, or will this thing just be flatbed in and then just, you know, driven around and then put back on said flatbed and then taken back?
That entirely depends on what is broken and what kind of a time constraint we have. So if the truck is perfectly operational, we are 110% going to drive it to location. But if, let's say, it's the night before the event and it's one of our paid events, like let's say it's a photo charter, then we will be in a situation where we kind of have to make our appearance. So in that case, we'll get a trailer and we'll bring it down there and maintenance it both en route and on site. Try and really get it going. But for the most part, it will be driven to events.
All right. One thing that I'm gonna ask, when I get older, I do actually want to upgrade my truck into a high railer. Is there any way I can do that?
You'll have to go through a custom shop.
Okay.
Harsco is still doing high rail upgrades, but they are very picky about what vehicles they choose, and that's
Ford
because
F-150?
well, see, that's the issue. Chevy has had the same width between the frame rails since 1935. They have not changed the width between the frame rails. Right up until I think it was actually the GMT, I want to say 1200s, got a change on them. But even then, the frame flared back in at the front to the standard width, so the high rail stuff would still work. Ford has changed its frame track width on their pickup trucks about every 5 years. So Harsco, I know for a fact, has certain years that they just don't do high rail stuff for. But if you have something General Motors, they almost guaranteed to have equipment for it. If it's Dodge, that's going to cost you because anything Mopar is expensive, and if you're crazy enough to use a Dodge as a high rail, you're gonna pay for it.
Okay.
In early 90s Dodge, like 91 Dodge Ram, like 2500 with a Cummins in it, with that set up as a high rail, would be a total vibe.
Oh, it'd be amazing. Now, I will say a second gen Dodge, those, I have seen one that was converted to have a mega cab and the super long box, because as anyone who's a big time Dodge fan will know that the second gens that had a dually rear have a slightly longer bed than the standard rear. So if it's a dually rear and a super cab, and you get the long box and modify it to have that. I've seen posts about one that was modified into a high rail like that. It is the longest truck I've ever seen. Now, personally, my crew cab long box is a behemoth on the roads. Like, the thing is massive. It's really tall, considering it's two-wheel drive as well. But, a Dodge, like a first-gen Dodge, would be really cool to see. Like, really, really cool to see, the high rail.
I have a 2010 Ford F-150 with extended cab, and I think it has like the whatever bed a extended cab would have, and I feel like I'm sailing the Queen Mary when I drive that thing through a parking lot. I can't imagine trying to drive something that's mega cab, long box. It's like, sir, how long do you want your truck? Yes.
The length he wants is whoop, whoop, ding, ding. Yeah.
It reminds me of the SpongeBob movie where they just have that pirate ship that just drives.
Yeah.
No, he's
let's
trying
see.
his best to spin the wheel 360 degrees. It just breaks.
Me trying to park my ES44 in the McDonald's parking lot. It's a little big.
Just a tad bit, not a lot.
Sir, I don't think you can take this thing through the drive-thru.
I get 2 number 9s and number 9 large. Okay. Before we end the podcast, I actually want to talk about something funny. On the Western New York and PA in Oil City, the tracks are literally right next to a McDonald's. I've seen high railers go there and just get Big Macs and watch the two Elkas roll past.
I went to Gainesville for for my first HRA event. God dang it! But there are train tracks right next to a Dollar General.
Not even the trains are safe. Just quoting I'm just gonna quote Loy here. Somebody has won a lifetime supply of Dollar Generals, and we have been cursed since.
You're not wrong.
Alright, well, with that, I must say...
Gosh darn, there's another one in the book.
Well,
This is 11:43.
is over, and I really want to go to bed because I feel like I'm high on crack right now. Anyways.
No, you get no sleep. Be high. That's so weird.
I got the diabetes, I need to go to sleep.
Everybody go crazy now.
Sir, you do not know the efforts I will go to be one of my finals.
Would you like to eat a brick again?
What are we gonna do with the drunken railroad? What are we gonna do with the drunken railroad? What are we gonna do with the drunken railroad?
It's called the Rio Grande Southern.
Now, I wanna plug, if you're willing to, I do want to plug one little video. This is something kind of big to do here, but if you give me just a moment before you close the stream, I want to find it here. But a friend of ours actually got our very first interview and very first information on the truck, and made a video about it. So I will post the video here once I can pull it up. Good.
So, that I think he's gonna put that in top chat or the live chat. So anyone who is watching after the live, make sure to check live chat. I might actually also pin it in the comments when we are finished with this video. Or stream, I should say.
Yeah.
Please do everything you can to support his efforts in the High Rail project. I know that I will make sure that I get as much people to really donate or just support it in general. But yeah, if you want to put that in chat, Frantic, before we close, that'd be a good idea.
Alright, I have come to the realization that it is not yet ready for release.
Okay, well...
But I will say this. Our very first... here, let me get it pulled up. Our very first Facebook post has been made.
I think I've been invited to follow it. I think that's what you... Oh, yep, the Belton Truck Restoration Project, if you would like to go see it.
Yes, I'm placing that in chat for anyone who wants to see it.
I feel depressed because only 4 people have watched over the course of this 2 hours.
Listen,
Well, we went upwards of 8 there for a while. I think I saw 9 for a minute.
keep in mind also the counting on YouTube is a little bit weird. So sometimes I don't think it's 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would highly suggest y'all go support this project. And
I'm gonna go download Facebook just for this.
we'll make sure to friend request me. Anyways, and with that,
Dodge is returning with the Hemi in 2026.
Wait,
And next time on the stream, we find out how Fisher foams the Dodge, how...
Next stream we have 100% gain on the mic.
no, we're not. You know what? Just for that, I am going to talk about
Oh god.
the creature, the Tennessee Central, Lionel. That is what we like to call. Frantic, what kind of gremlin noises are you making?
That's why you don't anger.
We will return after these messages.
We really are 5 orange cats in a box.
And that's why you don't annoy southern foamers. They will put the gain to 100% and scream in your ear at the top of their lungs, screaming, 45 change my mind.
Well, boys, that was something. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for watching. And most importantly,
I crypto.
Do drugs, don't wear your seatbelt, and
Humor Cat 25 is the best Berkshire. You can't change my mind.
Bet.
Ben. Alright. Well, with that, I say good day to you all. Final goodbye from our host.
You numb.
Pause.
Okay, we're gonna mute them. And with that, have a wonderful day, everyone.